Your cybersecurity solution is here. Introducing Pentester's Advanced Cybersecurity Suite. Ready for peace of mind? Try it for free. No credit card required. Pentester.com.
So next week I'll be back in New York continuing my mob tour. We got some new locations. I don't want to release the locations now, but if you're interested, please contact me on my at Anthony Ruggiano Jr, jr@gmail.com, and we'll hook it all up. In my old man's lifetime was probably out on stage, but in my lifetime, I don't know about the most feared. I think they were all kind of feared. Next thing is, let's shoot the guy in the head. I mean, that's gangster. A woman agent that couldn't put the gun in her holster. She couldn't put the gun in her holster. And welcome everybody to Informed Gangsters. And if you like my content, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon. A lot of exclusive content. I just put something up today on my Instagram about Tommy A, my father's co-defendant. Check it out. Also, don't forget about my merchandise. I have some really good merch. Check it out. And I hope everybody has a good day. People will keep asking me, who do I think was the most feared mob boss? I mean, in my old man's lifetime was probably out on stage, but in my lifetime, I don't know about the most feared. I think they were all kind of feared, and I think the most vicious, online Persico, the Steak, and Vicamuso. I mean, they were just killing everybody. I mean, they were probably the most vicious. They're all really feared because of the power they have. I mean, Gambino was feared. I mean, Genovese was feared. Colombo was feared. They were all feared, but I think the question is, who was the most vicious? And that would probably be Carmine Persico and Vicamuso in my lifetime, anyway. Carmine Persico was the boss of the Colombo family, and Vicamuso was the boss of the Lucchese family. Of course, I don't like to talk about politics. We all know I lean right. But how can we not talk about it this week after what happened to Donald Trump, that he almost got his head blown off? I mean, outside of the Secret Service agents that were around him, but outside of one of them, which I'll talk about in a minute, outside of the Secret Service agents that were around him, that threw him to the floor, the rest of them should all lose their job. The people that didn't secure that building, I mean, how this happened is crazy. The conspiracy theory is that they let it happen. That's what it looks like. That's what it could be. I mean, they hate this guy. I mean, after all, the FBI and they try to get this guy with Russia collusion, which was a lie, and all that other bullshit. They've been doing this for years to the guy. Now, it's like they ran the gauntlet. Like, first they try to set him up with phony things with Russia. Then they impeached him twice. That didn't work. Then they indicted him for felonies. That didn't work. The next thing is, let's shoot the guy in the head. I mean, that's gangster, right? Let's just shoot him in the head and get it over with. I mean, what are we doing here? Nothing's working. And now that didn't even work. But my opinion is, but this is the result of this DIE or DEI, whatever they call it, of diversity. This is the result of hiring the first of everything instead of the most qualified of everything. And this is what happens. This is why this guy's presidency is a disaster. Biden. This is why the incident with Trump happened. And this is why this country and this world is on fire, because this administration hires the first of everything instead of the best of everything. Then that doesn't matter if it's a man, woman, or gay person, as long as they're the best at what they're hired to do and the most qualified, not because they're the first woman or the first black person or the first gay person. That ain't working. And we could see it. It's all over. It's not working. Did you see that woman? So that woman agent that couldn't put the gun in her holster? She couldn't put the gun in her holster. I mean, I could put a gun in a holster, and I don't even know anything about guns, really, except how to shoot it. I mean, this is what you get. Now, what scares the shit out of me is now this guy Biden's gone. He's gone. He's gone. After what Schumer did yesterday, telling him to back off. Now he's got COVID. Did you see him walking up the steps of that plane yesterday? You had to feel sorry for the guy. He looked like a decrepit old man. Couldn't even walk up the steps. I mean, he's gone. Now my big fear is that this crazy lady, this cackling hyena, might become the president of the United States. Imagine Kamala Harris, the first woman president of the United States. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a scary thought. That's a scary thought. You know? So, I mean, even if you don't want to talk about politics, you don't want to be involved in politics. I mean, how do you not? It's right in your face. I mean, and I don't understand how people could even still want to vote for these people, this administration, these Democrats. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, listen, the economy sucks. The border's open. Prices are outrageous. Inflation, and, it's just nuts. It's nuts. I mean, anybody that says they weren't better off when Trump was the president, I don't know what planet they were living on. I mean, I know I was better. Listen, there was more money in my paycheck every 2 weeks when Trump was the president than there is now. I mean, I went to the store the other day and spent $52 in Publix. I walked out with nothing. So I don't know. It's just a crazy world, and who knows who Trump's going to run against now, but definitely ain't going to be Biden, that's for sure. But we'll see what happens. The people that said too bad they missed should be ashamed of themselves. That's horrendous. That's terrible. That's disgusting. The woman, the head of the Secret Service, should definitely lose her job, without a doubt. Someone has to be held accountable. The Democrats aren't even talking about it, which is terrible. They're not even calling for anybody to lose their job. They're not a peep out of them about anything pertaining to the shooting, which is disgusting. I mean, it's a terrible situation. I mean, this guy could have got murdered right on national TV. I mean, this brings me flashbacks of when I was a little kid sitting in my grandmother's living room in the 60s, and I saw Lee Harvey Oswald got murdered on national TV by Jack Ruby. I mean, it's a totally different circumstance, of course. I mean, but I mean, that was a murder that took place right on national TV. Now here we are, all these years later. This poor guy could have just imagine if that bullet would have shot him in it. Just imagine if Trump died that day. We would be in a civil war right now. There would be bloodshed in the streets. This country would have been burnt itself down. Who knows what would have happened if Trump died that day? I don't even want to imagine what would have happened if Trump died that day.
That's some gangster shit.
Yeah.
That's the highest level of gangster going on.
Listen, when I was sitting on the couch with my daughter watching, we just happened to have Fox News on. My daughter doesn't like Fox News. My daughter's a little bit of a liberal. She leans left, I lean right. My daughter, I love her to death, but she drank the Kool-Aid in college. I'm trying to what do you call that? I'm trying to rewire her, but I'm having a hard time doing it. Anyway, we were sitting on the couch just watching with the TV on and talking, and the next thing I knew, I saw Trump grab his ear and I go, oh shit, and then I hear the pop, and then I see the Secret Service jump on him, and then that's when everything happened. And I looked at my daughter, I said, now that's gangster shit. I told her that's gangster right there, that they tried to kill this guy just now. And she was upset, my daughter, and she hates Trump, and she was upset. I mean, it took a lot of balls. Listen, whether you like the guy or not, let's put stuff in perspective. This guy, he's a billionaire. He's married to a beautiful woman. He's got a beautiful family. Guy's got 10 grandkids. He's a multi-billionaire. He could live like a prince. And look, and why does he even want to be president? He's just got balls. He loves what he's doing. He's a patriot, and he's got balls. He's a gangster. He's a fucking gangster, and that's it. I would have been ducking, forget it. I don't know what I would have been doing. And he wanted his shoes, get my shoes. He was worried about his shoes. He was worried about, like, it's amazing. But the best decade for me was the 70s. That was the best decade. The 70s and the early 80s were the best decade. The 70s was the best decade for me. And the 90s. And then when I got clean in 88, the 90s were good. The 90s were good. For president, the best decade for the mob that made money was the Carter administration. We made crazy money, crazy money, because, he was just like Biden. He was the worst. The economy was in the tank. I always say it, when the economy is in the tank and there's inflation, the mob thrives. Back in my day, because, today, I don't know, it's a different world. Like, with swag, robbing shit out of the airport, selling stolen merchandise. We were hijacking trucks, cigarettes, So people need that. We were selling commodities to the public, at a cheaper rate. So we were raking in the money, We were raking in the money. When there's inflation and prices go up, if people are going to come to the mob because we had all the goods. So probably the Carter administration. But I think politically, the best era for the United States in my lifetime was probably the Reagan and Clinton administrations. I mean, even though Clinton was a Democrat, I didn't like him, and he did what he did with Lewinsky. I mean, people made a lot of money when he was the president. You know what I mean? They made a lot of money. When Clinton was the president, and and Reaganomics. People made a lot of money with Reagan. But for the mob, Reagan was the worst. Reagan was the worst for the mob because he initiated, RICO. I mean, Nixon started the RICO, but Reagan hated the mob from his Hollywood days. He knew how they ran he hated the mob. Ronald Reagan hated them, and he went after them like crazy. Like, he sicked the Justice Department on them like relentlessly. So he was really bad for the mob, Reagan. So next week I'll be back in New York, continuing my mob tour. We got some new locations. I don't want to release the locations now, but if you're interested, please contact me on my at Anthony Ruggiano Jr, JR@gmail.com, and we'll hook it all up. Thanks for tuning in, and stay safe out there.